San Francisco 49ers. It's been a long time, and I mean a long time, since the San Francisco 49ers were every year a bad team. Every year a bad team. It's been a minute. You go pre Alex Smith era, and even then it hasn't been that like it really. You know what I mean? So they gutted their entire team, and Micah Parsons had some jokes for them. But I have a list Adam Scheffner put up. Traded Debo Samuels. Cut Kyle Juszczyk, Leonard Floyd, Hargrave, Collins, and then in free agency, the players I left is Greenlaw, which I completely forgot Greenlaw was now on that team. I didn't even know that, actually. Ward, Banks, Moore, Mitchell, Dobbs, Hufanga. They lost so many players. And a part of this is, yes, I'm like 95% sure they're gearing up to pay Brock Purdy a ridiculous contract, right? Well, I don't want to say ridiculous. I mean ridiculous as it's going to be, the money is going to be astronomical. But in terms of ridiculous, he earned it by having a Super Bowl appearance and doing his thing. But here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. At first, coming into the offseason, I didn't believe that the San Francisco 49ers as an organization was going to pay Brock Purdy. I still think that they are really hesitant on paying Brock Purdy. I would not be shocked if I don't know if they can franchise tag, I don't know if they have already, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to franchise tag him or do something where they just get out of paying him for one more year, draft a quarterback really low, kind of what they did with him, maybe in not the last pick, but maybe like the second, third round, pick up a quarterback that they believe could, be in this offense. Because again, in their organization, they think Kyle Shanahan can just plug and play any quarterback and they're going to be fine. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do because they gutted their team. This team is different. And it's not, they lost a lot of defensive players, bro. Granted, their defense wasn't good last year, but I think with Salah coming back, I think they have a good chance of really shaping that defense up to be way better. But, gutting half your defense is not always the greatest thing to go into. And I just think with Debo Samuel's gone, with Brandon Ayuk coming off an injury, but he just seems like he seems very disinterested in the organization. He seems like the contract negotiations, like what was going on before he got re-signed again, really rubbed him the wrong way. He doesn't seem too engaged. Now, he could come back and be amazing. I'm sure he will be amazing, if nothing else, to get his trade value up so he can get up on out of there and go to an organization that he feels like values him a little bit more. Who knows? But I'm very curious to see what players in that organization, like what their relationship with, I believe, who's the 49ers GM? Is it David Lynch? What's his name? It's not David Lynch. 49ers GM, is it John Lynch? John Lynch, yes. I'm curious to what their relationship is with John Lynch, because if it's not strong, I'm telling people, I know he will not drop that far, but there's a crazy world out there where somehow, some way, a quarterback like maybe Shedeur Sanders, for what, again, it's not going to happen, but let's say he just drops significantly, and if 49ers can pick him up, I think Shedeur Sanders in Kyle Shanahan's offense is going to be very freaking beautiful. Very beautiful. And he'll have a rookie quarterback contract and use all this now free money to rebuild this team, not having to worry about paying Brock Purdy half the franchise or like a piece of the franchise. So it will be interesting to see what the 49ers does, because this has been a crazy free agency. so far. A lot of people, a lot of moving pieces. And I'm not. And another thing about the 49ers is that a lot of these players they let go of are leaders in their locker room. Kyle being one of them. I mean, he's a multi-time Pro Bowler, All Pro. Um, that's just very interesting. That's just very interesting. So, and again, Greenlaw, I'm very surprised. Maybe he declined. Like, maybe I don't watch every single 49ers game, so 49ers fans, let me know if some of these players are justified. Like, maybe they, I know last season wasn't a great season, obviously, but there's a lot of reasons for that. But, like, are these players declining? And I just don't know. Obviously, you still have Brock Purdy, you still have Fred Warner, but, I mean, these are a lot of players, bro. A lot of players. So, and the thing about San Francisco, the taxes. Yes, the organization is great. I'm sure the stadium is very lovely. It's actually one of the stadiums that I've always wanted to go visit. But the taxes are crazy. And I'm just curious if the 49ers is a destination that free agents are going to want to go to. That's a real. That's something very interesting that we're going to have to we're going to see. We're going to see over the next couple of weeks, especially with the draft coming up. We're going to see if there's any late moves, any trades for draft pick. I mean, I'm just very surprised by how much they gutted this team. Cause I knew when they got rid of Deebo Samuels that a lot of players were going to go. I just wasn't sure who and what. But again, they still have Fred Warner, who is the nucleus to that defense. And they still have Brock Purdy, who, when healthy, is a really great quarterback, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of Brock Purdy hate. And I will say this. And they also have George Kittle. I'm so sorry. They still have George Kittle, obviously. With that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't pay Brock Purdy and they try to move on to another quarterback and use that money in more strategic ways. I wouldn't be surprised. Cause that's another, I wouldn't do that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised if they try to move George Kittle. If they think they can move George Kittle for another offensive weapon for them, who knows? And obviously, and I know a big elephant, people are going to be typing already, what about Christian McCaffrey? What about Christian McCaffrey? Let's have a discussion about Christian McCaffrey. I love his game. Seems like a really cool dude. He cannot stay healthy. And whatever was going on with him this past season really screwed up any plans they had to make any serious run. Because look, at the end of the day, bro, that division is in shambles. And that division really is the Los Angeles Rams division to lose. Because the Los Angeles Rams only team that got significantly better and kept their quarterback, who is still, in my opinion, top 10 in the league. So, what do you do? What do you do with the 49ers? Because to me, this roster you currently have is not better than even the Cardinals roster. I'm not impressed by the Cardinals roster. I like some of the moves they've made so far. I don't know about Kyler Murray anymore. I'm really not sure. But I still like them to be way better than the Niners right now. Coaching wise too. I think Kyle Shanahan, honest to God, should be questioned a little bit more. He really should be. Cause I don't believe he got the most out of his players. Yes, they dealt with some injuries. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel in and out of the lineup. But I just don't know. And John Lynch is another. There's a couple of people I'm not sure on. And this will be very interesting to see what they do with Christian McCaffrey. Do they move on? I mean, again, because of his injury, it's just like, bro, you're never guaranteed to even play half a season. Like, we need you. Because without you, our quarterback is not nearly as effective. Especially when we give up someone like Deebo Samuels. Right? So I'm very curious I'm very curious to see if they move George Kittle. I'm very curious to see if they move a Christian McCaffrey. See if they can move them for either more picks, either let's say they try to get a higher pick in the draft, they could try to do that, draft like a Travis Hunter, draft Shador Sanders, draft Cam Ward. Who knows? This is crazy scenarios, and I am in the camp for 49er fans that you pay Brock Purdy because the alternative options are not really there anymore, unless a wild trade happens. But I just don't see it. So I would repay Brock Purdy in this current market. I think they waited too long, just like the Bengals waited too long with Jamar Chase. And that's another thing. The Bengals franchise tagged T. Higgins. Do you wait until not next season, but 2 seasons from now, where you can go pick up T. Higgins and add him to your roster for Brock Purdy, right? And there's that other defensive lineman from the Bengals who requested a trade. I know he's asking for a lot, but now that you gutted half your defense, do you go and use this added money now to go get him? Presumably, you don't pay Brock Purdy as much, or who knows? It's very interesting where they go. There's still a couple of players out there they can get in free agency or in the trade market to go get. I mean, they could make a move for Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp is going to go to Baltimore. I think it'll be in his best interest to go to Baltimore. But I could see a world where he goes from the Rams and goes to a divisional rival in the 49ers and becomes a very nice weapon for Brock Purdy. Like that's another thing that could happen there through via trade. So there's many options here. Where do they go? I don't know. But comment, like, subscribe, share. Let me know your thoughts down below. See you on the next one. Peace.